Puma has had a lot of success lately with some of their newer releases, but one of their lesser talked about shoes in recent years is the Velocity Nitro. Today, we're going to be comparing the 3 with the 4 and talking about the big changes that were had in 2025. What's up everybody, I'm Eric McIntyre, aka Rad Dad Bod, and you're watching Rad Dad Bod TV, where we review running shoes. Now, if it's your first time watching one of my videos, you may notice some timestamps below. Feel free to jump around the various parts of this video. But if you do so, I'd sure appreciate if you come back, watch the full thing when you get a sec, as I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. Now, quick disclaimers and disclosures, I did receive the Velocity Nitro 3 for free for the purpose of review directly from Puma. The 4, however, I did pay for with my own money. That being said, when I am provided shoes for the purpose of review, I am not paid, I am not given talk tracks, talking points, anything along those lines, and all thoughts are entirely my own. Now, as far as the intended use of this shoe, this is going to be kind of your up-tempo daily trainer. So non-plated, it's meant to be able to be used on a daily basis, but there are going to be some elements which really kind of bias it more towards speed and tempo, just a shoe that you can put on and pick up the pace and not necessarily just go easy. As such, that's how we're going to be talking about the shoe today. From a price perspective, last year came in at $135, making it one of the most affordable shoes on the market. The 4, on the other hand, has gone up by $5, but still only sits at $140, which again, puts it at a very, very great price point where it's not necessarily a budget shoe, but compared to most shoes on the market today, it's very affordable. Now, some big changes this year with the spec. So in the 3, it sat at 9.5 ounces and 269 grams. The 4 is all the way down to 8 ounces and 227 grams. Then when you look at the stack, the 3 was at 36 in the heel, 26 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. The 4, however, has actually come down a little bit to 34 in the heel, 24 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. So not only is it a little bit lower stack, but it is a good amount. I mean, 1.5 ounces lighter overall. That is the biggest change, at least in recent memory, of one iteration to another, especially for a shoe like this that was already like not a heavy shoe necessarily. Now, from a fit perspective, this is a classic Puma fit, so I'm gonna say that it's narrow overall for both. Now in the 3 though, it was, both are true to size lengthwise, by the way, but in the 3, the width was, you know, standard toe box, very snug midfoot, and then even snug heel. In the 4, I would say standard heel, standard, if not like a little bit wider toe box, but that midfoot is still narrow. It is wider though than the 3. The changes in the upper are somewhat minimal. It is still going to be an engineered mesh on both of them and a similar overall kind of experience. So you have the breathable engineered mesh, and then you have power tape on the medial side of the 3 that's very, very visible. It's kind of those overlays and different things that give the shoe support. Now in the 4, if they are there, you don't really see them as much, but there are some power tape overlays. There are just general overlays to give the shoe a little bit more structure overall as well. From a tongue perspective, both kind of have that fully gusseted, kind of thin, almost like race-like tongue, which is really, really nice. I like to see a traditional upper with a nice like thin tongue that makes it a little bit more versatile there. And then from a breathability perspective, again, I would say both are moderately breathable. They're not like the most breathable. It's not a full race upper. It's more kind of geared towards a balance of comfort and lightweightness. You know, the lace system is pretty much identical between the two shoes, so not really a change there. But overall, to me, I found that the upper of the 3 was a little bit restrictive. Not fully stiff, like it was comfortable, but there wasn't a whole lot of stretch in the upper. The slight extra width in the 4, and then I feel like a little bit more plush interior is really, really welcome, and usually that adds extra weight, but like I said, 1.5 ounces lighter overall. The upper of the 4 just gives a little bit more room for your foot to breathe without sacrificing lockdown, which I very much enjoy. Now the biggest change of the shoe though comes in the midsole. So you had nitro foam in both of these shoes. However, in the 3 you actually had a dual density setup where you had the softer, more responsive nitro foam up top, and then you actually had a bottom nitro foam layer. The bottom layer, my understanding, was EVA, and then the top half was going to be, I believe it was a EVA, no, I believe the top was a Puma based foam, right? You also have the TPU heel piece, and this is for additional stability. And so you had kind of just a couple of different elements going on in the 3. With the 4, it's one compound, it's just nitrofoam, it's not dual density, and it is actually, I believe, supercritical TPE. And correct me if I'm wrong, I might be off on that, but I know Puma has been transitioning over to TPE for most of their foams, especially their speed-oriented foams. And so the difference is really, really stark in terms of underfoot feel. The 4 feels bouncy and soft. It's very comfortable underfoot. The 3 to me felt firm. Now that top layer of nitro foam is soft, it is responsive, and so the speed, I don't think like it's lost or gained speed at all in between the 2 iterations. I think it's the same. I think it's purely comfort and just kind of underfoot feel. That bottom layer of EVA on the 3 just felt really, really firm to me for some reason. Even though that top layer is kind of nice, but it felt very firm, not rigid because there's no plate element, but it was a little bit harsher underfoot. That paired with the 10mm drop where the shoe wasn't compressing as much as a lot of other foams, that did leave a little bit to be desired for me. 10 also is just not my drop preference. I think if they were both 8, it would be a little bit better. Stability wise, they're pretty much equal. The 4 maybe has a slightly wider base, making it a little bit more stable, but then again, a little bit softer. So I think it's pretty much a wash, but pace versatility, it was hard to go easy in the 3. 1, because it likes to go fast. 2, because of that 10mm drop. But 3, it just like, it was a more speed oriented shoe. It wasn't as comfortable with that firmness. For the 4 though, that nice plush feeling makes it a lot more, it makes it a lot easier to kind of slow down, relax, and enjoy a variety of paces. But then the top end speed of both of these, like you could use these for intervals, you could use these for tempo. The 4 I would feel more comfortable going long in versus the 3 I would kind of be a little bit worried. The foam of the 4 is reminiscent of something like the Rebel V5, the Evo SL. It's kind of in that category where it's soft, it's responsive, it's fun, and for the most part, I don't think it's gonna bottom out on us. Now, moving to the outsoles, you have Puma grip on both, and Puma grip is just absolutely insane. One of the best grips on the market, and it does a phenomenal job on both of these shoes. These are the type of outsoles that you do feel just actively gripping the ground, and so that remains true for the 4 as well as the 3. Doesn't just check the box, it is actively really, really good. So now as far as my pick between the 2, I pretty comfortably lean towards the 4, right? The 4 is just, it's not overly soft, it's not overly squishy, it's comfortable, it's bouncy, it's responsive, it's lightweight, significantly more lighter than the 3. Big upgrade in my mind with this shoe. Now, who might rather have the 3? Well, if you are wanting more firm, like a firmer option, that's really, or like if you have really narrow feet, that's where the 3 I think makes sense. I think it is a super underrated shoe, but it also made sense to me why some people didn't love it as much, especially when you have, you know, the more responsive like Deviate Nitro and Deviate Nitro Elite options out there. The Velocity is going to be more of the daily training version of that, but I think most people are just going, if they're Puma fans, are going more like magmax for daily training or Forever Run for daily training, and the Velocity line kind of got forgotten. The 4, I think this is a more general, like more general daily training and like up-tempo work for the masses style shoe. So it makes sense to me there. But anyway, just some final thoughts. Puma has had a really, really good year. I feel like they've kind of flown under the radar this year, which is weird because the R3 is, oh man, that shoe is maybe the best overall super shoe on the market this year, right? Like I think there are potentially better super shoes, but not with that same versatility. Like it has the stability and support to go long, but it has just that pure raw speed as well. I just PR'd my 5K in it. Absolutely love that shoe. But I feel like that's the only shoe anyone's really talked about this year. I've heard some rumblings of the Velocity Nitro 4. Some people like it, but just not enough given the type of shoe that this is. I would have expected it to get a little bit more fanfare. So we'll see. I think Puma is still, while they're growing in the running space, and those who are in the running shoe space, they know that Puma is a legit contender. I think that they don't have the same broad mass appeal that a lot of the other brands that have been around for a long time still or have today. So we'll see kind of what's to come from them. But if you watched this far, I sure appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about these shoes, as well as what I could be doing better as a reviewer to make these more interesting for each and every one of you. If you watched this far and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please consider doing so today. Leave a like, leave a comment, and turn on those notifications as well. And if you'd like to support the channel, please consider using any of the affiliate links in the description below. I have a link to Fuel Goods, so if you're in the need of any running fuel, you can go ahead and use my code RADDAD at checkout for 10% off any fuel. And they have most major brands, so chances are if you were going to buy some fuel anyway, if you just use that affiliate link, use that code, it's going to give me a kickback. It's a win-win scenario for both of us. On top of that, if you need any running gear, any half tights, any long tights for winter, please consider using RADDAD20 for 20% off at checkout on any Wallaco gear. So you can go ahead, you can actually stack it on the bundles as well to get further discounts. So go ahead, stock up for winter, get some half tights, get some full length tights as well for the cold. But if you watched this far, again, I appreciate you. Thank you all for the support. And just to wrap us up, I'll leave you with a question, which is, what is your favorite brand of running shoe in 2025? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks, everybody.